there's probably a lot of guys out there, a lot of people like me, like myself, who has been dealing with the student loan mess for umpteen ages. Let's be honest, guys, like student loan debt is just like really, really annoying. It's like a thorn in my butt. That's what it really is. I mean, I've been dealing with student loans for so long, and no matter what I do, I just can't get rid of them. And a lot of you may feel that way as well. We all just want those student loans just to disappear, to go away. But we are going to talk about how to get rid of your student loan, how to get your student loan forgiven. So, welcome to the podcast with Todd and Tasha. Let's get right into this video. So, this is really taken from Forbes, and the Education Department has published new guidance last Friday or last week on applying for borrower defense to repayment, a student loan forgiveness program that can provide relief to borrowers who were misled by their schools.
Oh, yeah.
The updated guidance includes strategies and tips for increasing the chances that a borrower's application will ultimately be approved. Now, borrower defense to repayment can lead to student loan forgiveness and other debt relief. So, borrower defense to repayment is a federal loan debt relief program designed for borrowers who have been defrauded by their school. Okay. Under the program, we're going to talk about this. Under the program, certain conduct by school you attended might make you eligible to receive a discharge of some or all of your federal student loans, as well as refunds of your last payments in certain cases, according to the Education Department. So examples of school misconduct that can give rise to a borrower defense claim include misrepresentations or false promises about key elements of an educational or vocational program, such as admission statistics, career prospects, or the transferability of credits to other institutions. Breach of a contract can also give rise to a borrower defense claim. So we all probably have experienced misrepresentation and false transferability of credit. So I've been at schools where I went to another school and then went over to another school, and I'm like asking the counselor, will these credits transfer? Will it transfer over to the school? Oh yeah, it'll transfer. Let me look. Oh yeah, it'll transfer. When come to find out later, it does not transfer. That is absolutely annoying because they get you all hyped up. And you're like, okay, good. So I just need this amount of credit hours so I can go ahead and get my bachelor's degree in this course or that course. So another example would be that they will actually inflate the numbers. They will say, well, this school has a 98% graduation rate. And kind of find out that they only have an 86% graduation rate. So they'll tell you these things to lure you in so you can apply, so you can attend the school, so you can pay for the school, because again, they make money off of you. The schools, they make money off of you. So they tell you all of this stuff and like, oh, you know, this is a great place to be. I mean, we have great graduation rates. We have this and that. Your credits can transfer. We have this program. We have that program. All of that is a crock of mess.
And see, they could have a quote unquote 90% graduation rate, but they don't say that, hey, 75% of people don't even finish. But of the 25% that stay is 98%. So again, that would be misleading. They're not telling you like the whole story, basically.
Exactly. So it goes on to say that according to the Education Department's new published guidance, there are a number of things a borrower can do to strengthen their application and increase the chance of getting approved.
Okay.
For student loan forgiveness under the borrower defense program. So let's try to run through this very quickly here. Borrowers should make a clear connection between the school's misconduct and their decision to enroll in the school or remain enrolled. In other words, the school's misconduct cannot be incidental or unrelated to enrollment issues. The misrepresentation, breach, or contract or judgment must have affected your decision to enroll and take out federal loans, or it must be related to the school's education services or educational services.
So for an example, just to give you guys an example of that, guys. So you see an ad, like we've seen them, especially in the past. You see an ad for, a particular, school or whatever the case. And they're telling you basically something like guaranteed employment, or basically telling you like in so many words, they're insinuating that you're definitely, quote unquote, going to get a job by going to this school. And so because of that, you go ahead and enroll and take out loans. That would be a perfect example.
Exactly. So the next thing is that you must include supporting documentation with your application that substantiates your allegations. This can include emails or other communications between you and your school. Course catalogs, student handbooks, and advertisements from your school, such as web ads, social media ads, email ads, print ads, or YouTube links to television ads, as well as copies of the applicable contract if you are asserting a breach of contract claim. Be as specific as possible in your application. Listen to this. Be as specific as possible in your application. In other words, don't just broadly assert that the school made a misrepresentation or a false promise. Specify who made the misrepresentation, what the misrepresentation was, how and when it was communicated to you, why the information was important to you, how and why you relied on it, and ultimately how that reliance negatively impacted you. Be as thorough and complete as possible in documenting your allegations. You guys, you have to be really careful. You want to make sure you're super detailed. It's good to keep all of your paperwork, paper trail, email trail. You want to do all of that stuff. Documentation is such the key, because like if you need to go to court for even whatever reason, you want to have all that documented. So, but also be sure to be truthful. I was just kind of talking about that. At the end of your application, you'll certify under penalty of perjury that all your statements are the best to your knowledge, to the best of your knowledge that is true. So this means that you could face criminal prosecution if you knowingly submit a false statement, a false document to basically the federal government.
Yeah, and what he was explaining as far as the criteria, honestly, again, go through that step by step, what they are saying, what they're basically spilling out. They're giving you the blueprint of how to write your document up. You can possibly get legal help if you would like to do that. I'm pretty sure there's maybe some free legal aid, but honestly, if you just answer every single thing that they just said, like, okay, who made the statements? And of course you could say it was basically the ad, the school, whoever's over advertisement or whatever the case may be, the ad that spoke to you as far as that. And then you follow up with a counselor, because that's typically what you do when you enroll in a school. It's like, okay, when? Whatever, give a general area of time when you started. I saw the ads for these amount of months. Then I decided to call, things like that. So again, like you said, be super detailed as much as possible, because again, this is potentially thousands of dollars that you're basically getting unburdened of.
Right.
And rightfully so, if they're totally lying, which we know that some schools, from personal experience, totally lie about stuff. So
exactly. So lastly, to wrap this up with, let's talk about this last thing here. So hundreds of thousands of borrowers may be eligible for a $6 billion in automatic debt relief under an approved settlement in the Sweet versus Cardona case to resolve stalled borrower defense applications. However, that relief has been temporarily halted while a court considers whether to stay the relief pending an appeal by several impacted schools. A decision on the state is expected before the end of the month. Borrowers who aren't covered by the Sweet settlement can still apply for borrower defense relief. They just would not be entitled to automatic relief under the settlement. So meanwhile, later this summer, the Biden administration, that's Joe Biden, the Biden administration to set to enact new borrower defense regulations. So under these new rules, additional types of school misconduct can give rise to borrower defense claims. Aggressive and deceptive recruitment practices and substantial omission of fact. Okay. I mean, like, wow. And the department will be able to more easily issue group discharges to similarly impacted borrowers. The new regulations will also allow for complete relief rather than partial relief. So they're trying to basically, what Joe is doing right now, he's apparently trying to get 100% forgiveness for student loans. But under President Trump, it was only, I guess, they only allowed like partial forgiveness. But so Joe is trying to do the full gamut here.
And, you know, there are obviously, as with everything, there are some major, again, there's major opposition when it comes to this situation, not only from political leaders and, you know, those that will be in charge of making the decision, but also, you know, people, everyday people like you and I who are just like, hey, I had to pay my student loans. Like some people may have paid theirs off. And they're just, you know, there are some people who are upset and angry about this. And they're like, hey, why in the world should they get forgiveness? I didn't get forgiveness of my student loans or whatever the case. And, you know, or some people are just like, hey, I went to school. I didn't get any student loans. So why should we, quote unquote, be liable for, you know, as the whole thing is like, oh, well, it's going to basically come back to the taxpayer. Why should we have to foot the bill for that or whatever the case? So, you know, people are going to feel however they feel. But the bottom line is this. We all know the government is going to do whatever they want, whatever their motive is. If it's something that's going to benefit you, go ahead and take advantage of it.
Right.
And if you can get it, you know, discharge or whatever the case may be, don't put too much stock into what other people's opinions are. Just basically do what you need to do for yourself.
Exactly. So, yeah, just try to make sure that you fill out the application form correctly. I mean, you can go online and you can even go on your wherever you have your student loan at, or go to the federal government website. Which is the student loan part of it. You want to go on the student loan education, Department of Education website, what I'm trying to say, and look for the application there. And like I said, just fill it out correctly. But there's still hope. There's still hope. But again, that's a positive thing that I see in this current administration. The one positive thing is that the student loans, that the guy is trying to wipe out the student loans. But like she was just saying, there's people, the other argument is that there are a lot of people who've paid their student loans already, and they're upset because they're like, it's not fair for them not to pay their student loans, but we had to pay ours. Anyway, so I think that is it for this video.
Let us know what you think in the comments. Let us know if you're going to go ahead and fill out the information, or if you have had success already, share that with the people down below. And of course, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share all over social media. If you don't have social media, share anyway. And we're out.